Hello, my name is Rob Palacios. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer at Cyber Group, a business and technology consulting firm. Today, we're launching a new innovation series. We'll be publishing content over the next several months covering topics in the innovation space. Our hope is that these topics are ones that businesses are coping with and that our contribution can help provide a perspective which is both informative and useful. Now for our first topic in that innovation series, Innovation for Survival, 2020 and its lasting impacts. 2020 was a year of innovation for survival. There was significant disruption across all industries, and traditional business models that had been viable for decades were forced to adapt quickly to the COVID-19 pandemic as it swept across the world. Companies were forced to innovate to survive and accelerate their long-standing plans to digitize their businesses. This occurred broadly, but one industry where the impacts were clear is banking. According to multiple studies in 2020, there was a 200% jump in new mobile banking registrations as banks closed their lobbies in response to the pandemic. This resulted in an 85% increase in mobile banking transactions, with the largest percentage coming from previous traditionalists who were trying digital banking for the first time. It is estimated that 60% of customers that had used bank branches before the pandemic do not expect to return after the pandemic. And 64% of checking accounts were opened online or via a mobile app. These are significant numbers, and the same type of impacts occurred all at once across multiple industries. I think it'd be useful to use our customer value chain framework to help explore the innovation that occurred during the pandemic. We decompose the customer value chain into three core components. Acquire is the first and includes the marketing and sales activities an organization executes to identify and engage the right prospects at the right time in the hopes of converting them into customers. Onboard is a process which takes prospects that want to become customers and facilitates that conversion as efficiently as possible with a focus on low friction, speed, and customer experience. Serve is the final component. It's focused on providing new and existing customers with the value they expect from the organization to reduce churn and increase retention and profitability. Each of these components is critical, and many innovations can be categorized in these buckets. The acquire phase is fundamental to every business. New customers are critical to grow the organization, but can be expensive and time-consuming to identify and acquire. The acquire phase experienced a variety of innovation during the pandemic. This ranged from adoption of direct-to-consumer marketing through social media channels to the implementation of artificial intelligence models to identify best potential prospects and engage them with the relevant information to elicit a positive response. There existed a great deal of innovation momentum on this topic before the pandemic, with the increased availability of data, computing power, and tools to build sophisticated models. Some of these models included using the attributes of existing high-value customers to create a filter that could be used to sift through large numbers of potential prospects and identifying those that had the highest potential to be preferred clients. By using an approach such as this, sales and marketing efforts become vastly more effective. Time to close metrics are significantly reduced, and high-value sales resources are directed to the highest potential prospects and offer them the most relevant products and services. As AI models become more sophisticated and widely used, those companies that do not employ them will be at a significant disadvantage to companies that do. The 2020 pandemic has accelerated this adoption across multiple industries and should be a part of every corporate strategy discussion. Once an organization has successfully identified and persuaded a prospect to become a new client, minimizing business friction to onboarding is critical. The tolerance potential customers have for slow processes has been directly influenced for years by large retail providers including Amazon, Apple, and other companies that make doing business with them easy with a focus on customer experience. Most companies simply were not prepared for this level of frictionless interaction. These investments in digital onboarding are rippling through many industries, with banking, insurance, and other usually high-touch business models being impacted most. This acceleration in the digital channels has resulted in a growing gap between organizations previously on more even competitive footing. Capabilities such as digital account opening and online loan processing are now prevalent in the banking industry, for example, and institutions without these types of offerings are at significant disadvantage. This will only grow over time. Investments in acquisition and onboarding are only realized in the serve phase. The processes and technology to satisfy and retain valuable customers has seen a great deal of innovation focus. Some of this has resulted in real value to the organization and its investors. Some has been a complete waste of resources. One of the core themes in the serve category is to meet your customers where and when they desire. This is made increasingly complex as physical channels were diminished during the pandemic. Curbside pickup, online music festivals, virtual workouts were all great examples of business pivots to serve their customers. Almost every business adopted the virtual meeting for both customers and internal meetings. Some went much further to provide customers access to self-service capabilities and data that previously required an in-person meeting. Innovative organizations focus their efforts on better understanding their customers and their needs using predictive models, identifying potential value-add products and services that could better serve their customers. By leveraging context and relationship value, businesses increase response rates, close rates, and existing customer retention by providing them more value through the relationship. This personalized and targeted approach to customer service substantially increases competitive advantage. By using information already inside the organization and supplementing it with third-party data, customer service quality is increased and broader relationship is strengthened across time. Adoption of innovation in this space will continue to increase and must be a part of any company's strategy. We see the following key themes that arose from innovation in 2020. Companies were pushed towards adoption of digital solutions across all parts of their enterprise, sometimes without a coherent business architecture to support long-term viability. Customers adopted to doing business via digital channels quickly and will continue to expect this option. There's a growing gap between small businesses and larger organizations that are capable of making the necessary investments in technology and qualified resources. Many innovations made during the 2020 pandemic will require significant reengineering or additional investments to be sustainable. Innovation will continue at an accelerated rate across most industries, bringing both large opportunities for success as well as significant financial and cybersecurity risks. It is important to refresh competitive assessments to identify any new innovations deployed in the market that might impact the organization's value. Establishing a well-thought-out innovation strategy and governance model are critical to every enterprise in order to benefit from these efforts. 2020 was a year of innovation for survival. There are countless examples of companies successfully executing major business model pivots during the crisis. Many of those efforts will provide the company with significant competitive advantages and lead to more innovation. Others will fall behind in an ever-increasing capabilities gap. We're committed to helping businesses be the best they can be for their employees, customers, and shareholders. We hope you join us again on our next Innovation Series topic, and you reach out directly if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions. Thank you.